All right, today we're talking about one of the best lines I ever heard in my life in a movie. So it goes, "A moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory." Now, the movie I want to say is called Unbroken. Shout out to Google or YouTube for getting rid of, like, I literally paid for this movie on software or like on YouTube or some shit like that. And I don't have that movie no longer on my YouTube thing to watch whenever the fuck I please. So shout out to the new era. But so a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory. This line was said. This guy was a runner, and he was running for the Olympics. He was I want to say one of the first people to get a 4 minute mile. And so this guy, he was like, I don't want to say a deadbeat, but he wasn't. He was one of the people who got into trouble a lot. Let's say it like that. And so he had a brother, and so his brother would coach him. And so one of the lines that he said as his brother was going off, he said, "A moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory." Now that quote, it sat with me for a little while, and like that's one of the quotes that if I was to ever quote some words on me, it'll probably be that line. Only because it's like, let's give you the example. Are you willing to enjoy your 20s, party, and have all that fun, to suffer in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond for a lifetime? Or suffer in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever have you, in order to have a lifetime of glory? It's like all you have to do really is like for some people, if they hit $1 million, they'll be good for a lifetime. And some people, their cap is 10 million. Some people is 100 million. Some people is a billion. So depending on what's your level of satisfaction, because unfortunately in this world we are in a place where we're never satisfied really. We're always consuming, which I heard about some great things about consumption, which is kind of scary going down the pipeline potentially. But so the thing is, sacrificing the current you, right? This moment you may enjoy, but the version of you who's better than the you right now is a sacrifice. Because in order to be better, you gotta have better habits than you have right now. So it's like, hey, if you're making $1 million, well, you should be making 10. 10 would be a different version of you than the $1 million version of you in simple math. Or the 100K version of you is different than the $1 million version of you. Or the 10K version of you is different from the 100K version of you. It's all basically sequential if you think about it. And so it doesn't matter what level you're at, it's all the same. It's like the version of you doing more than what he's capable of today is definitely something to be amazed by. Because it's like, okay, if you go to the gym for a year every day, maybe you do the same exact routine, but there's only one progression. It's like you do the same exact weight every every single week or every month, even slower. You add about 5 pounds to whatever you're doing, and on each side, so that's 10. So you add 10 pounds on whatever you're doing. And so over time, that could be something crazy. It's like if you're doing it on each side, that becomes 120 pounds added on to whatever you're doing. And if your current self can't even do the 120 and you're starting at zero, then it's still relatively the same. It's like you're 120 pounds stronger than what you were at the beginning. That's an amazing growth. Well, if it's like, okay, you can't really run a mile fully, and then eventually you become able to run a mile fully without stopping. You jog the whole way. It's like, that's pretty impressive. Now you can move pretty much way further than most, right? And that's a progression of 12 months. And so it's very relative in anything, but that's a sacrifice, right? You have to sacrifice time. You gotta sacrifice your body a little bit, the soreness, right? That you go feel. And literally when you're building muscle, the muscle tears to become stronger, right? It has to break itself down to then build itself up stronger than it was before. So that moment where you're pumping weight, you're literally reforming everything into a different structure. And so what about the eating habits? Maybe you go from eating 3 meals to 2 meals within a window. That is definitely highly possible. But it's like you gotta sacrifice your enjoyment of food to like want to snack whenever you want to snack. Everything is very relative. And so a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory. So it's like it's very painful learning something new. Every single time it's painful because you suck. Nah, you trash, actually. You horrible. But you keep going at it, you keep practicing, and you become better. And over time, people look to you for the answers. And it's like, whoa, when did I go from being the student to being the teacher? Well, it's always been that way. You've always been the student and the teacher. You just didn't realize your teaching abilities until a little bit after, but you could have been teaching the whole time. Now, that's some amazing game to have. Like, literally, you could grab a book, got the magic meditations book that is still sealed in 2026. Maybe we might open it, but it's still sealed. And each chapter, everything that I read from here, I could go ahead and talk to people about it. Show them like, hey, look, this is what it's about. Like in the back, I still stand by this shit, right? If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. The harm is to persist in one's own self deception and ignorance. And with that being said, do you want to be so ignorant that you'll let time fly? And then when you realize you're basically sacrificing your whole life to make up for the mistakes that you made earlier, when you could just did it the other way around and live lavishly for the rest of your life? It's a big risk that you're taking of doing it or not doing it, really. And so now you have choices to make, whether it's like, is it worth the sacrifice? Is it worth the reward? Because you might have a prediction of the future of like, okay, like the future me, if I work out, yeah, I could have a six pack and all this stuff, but what would I have to like not do anymore? Is that worth it? Is it worth not doing those things so that you could achieve that body? Some may say yes, some may say no, and some may say yes and then realize how hard it is, and then they say no. It's all relative. And this goes throughout the whole stratosphere of any learning skills. It's like I could learn how to use the iPhone better. I'm sure there's cues and shit that I could do that make it like so much better. Like I could instantly put on my light, right? But it's like I'm sure there's more abilities that I could have and be faster at using it if I learned the technology better. Or, you could learn AI. AI is going to be a thing, right? But there's a lot of growing pains with learning new things. And once you get past that, you could become good really fast. Now, becoming great, spectacular, that may take a while, but you could become good very fast at literally anything. And so, if you practice for 20 hours, like get your 20 hours in fast as fuck. If you could do like two 20 hours, two 10-hour sections, that would be the best because then you get the full understanding. Damn, my nose. You get the full understanding of maybe I could do this, or maybe, hey, this shit ain't for me. Because if you don't get those hours in fast, you'll always be stuck with the what if. Like right now, I'm like, what if there's a tissue right here in my facility? Because out of nowhere, my shit start running. All right. So let's see if we could get some help. So it's like the game is. All right, let me see if I could get this nose situation handled. The game is that you want to be able to make the most important sacrifices, which is the one that allow you to become who you want to be. Babe, can you give me a tissue, please? Thank you. So you get to sacrifice or look at the potential sacrifices of who you want to become and really gauge if that moment of pain is worth that lifetime of glory. Because you could get your ultimate body once, and after that, you'll be good forever, right? If you maintain it. You could get the habit of these great eating habits and maintain them, and that's it, you're done, right? As long as you maintain it. And so you could form these habits in a way where it allows you to do it literally the whole lifetime. And so it's like if you go ahead and want to do the extreme, you can get the result in whatever that short amount of time is. It's like you can do a 90-day, fitness challenge, get your body on and be completely different. But did that form the correct habit of like, did you have to give up a lot of food in order to achieve that? Ah, did you have to give up a lot of food to achieve that and do an extreme diet? If that's the case, then maybe the maintenance of it might be a little bit more complicated. Thank you. So it's like you have to decide that for yourself. Is is the extreme worth the potential fall off? And if the answer is no, then you might want to reconsider your plan to get there. Because if you could get there in 12 months while forming some great habits, isn't that worth the wait? 12 months isn't that long in the grand scheme of things, but it can be considered that long at any point. But it was very long for you to get this fucked up lifestyle that you had. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over the course of time, but it can be fixed over the course of time as well. It only takes a little bit of time. It could happen instantly, really, if you want to. But for those of you who don't believe in the instant, we'll talk about the 12 months, which is literally an instant as well, quite literally. But it's like you can change everything in that 365 days. That's let's say you fall off a few days. So instead of getting 365, you get 300. That's still not a bad ratio. Let's talk about it. Because if we do 300 divided by 365, it's 82%. So 80% of the times, over 80% of the times, you're doing the stuff right. You need to bump that number up, of course. But that's over the course of being able to have, what is that, 5 days of being off? That's a lot of days of being off. That's a whole week that you could be off. But the rest of the time, you got to be on. It's not that bad. So if you look at it that way, it's like, okay, out of the 30 days, I need to get 25 right. That's easier done than not. And if you can continuously do that, and of course, like, don't purposely fall off. I'm just giving you the example of even though you may fall off a few days, it doesn't mean it's over. You're still at 82% with 65, right? So you have more than enough time to make that complete change just within that time. Because it's like, okay, the next year you go get to 90 easily because you just formed a super habit. You did that shit 300 days. And now adds 30 days to that. That'll make a significant change. And now you're going to probably be in the 90s, right? So let's do it. 330 divided by 365, 90. So then the changes is minute that make you become a superman, if you will. It's like now you're working out 330 days, let's say, for the example. And so in 35 days you cheat. So you cheat for a whole month, basically. But then you get back on it. It's like that's a well solidified thing if you could be that consistent. And again, over time, it just gets more and more. So let's say you just only add 3 more days each time. That's 10 years until you fully master it. So that's a 12-year period. But you just proved that from year one to year two, you could do 330. That's a solid spot to be at. You don't have to be at the super extreme, but being at the objective of being 300 days right, and then adding 10% of that, that's possible. And a lot of change for a lot of people happens in 24 months, massively, right? 12 months, you'll see significant change, but then the person's totally different on month 24, because at that point, they completely change every aspect of their life. Because right now, you're 90% of the way of who you are right now. And so right now, you as you is right now, if you're smoking weed, if healthy, you fat as fuck, you playing video games, you not making as much money, it's like all that could change. 24 months, massively. You could go from your 90% right now to the 90% of a multi six figure earner, to the 90% of whoever you want to be. 90% in health. These are the five aspects. 90% in health, 90% in wealth, 90% in relationships, 90% in spirituality or in the spiritual game, 90% in the mind game. If you're not at 90%, there's some work to do. Now, you may have, 90% here, but the rest are gone. Or maybe you're not at 90% on any of them. You might have some 80s or no 80s. It's all good. 24 months from having it all at 90. That's a massive change, game changer. And so the habits you have today, some may serve you, some may not serve you. The people in your life today, some may serve you, some may not serve you. But that's not to say that they haven't served the version of you of who you are today or who you were before. Some of them are just not ready to grow with you. Some things have to change significantly for you to be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish. That's okay. It's not about leaving somebody behind. It's about growing so that when they ask for your hand, you can lift them up. And that's what a moment of pain and a lifetime of glory does. Because 24 months is just a moment. If you're in your 20s, if you're 20, that's only 10%, 10% of your life. I know when you're littler, it's a whole big difference. If you're two, that's your whole life, 100%. If you're four, that's 50% of your life. If you're six, that's 33% of your life. Significant still. If you're 10, that's 20%. Still significant. But then at 20, it becomes 10%. At 30, less than that. We reach single digits. So 24 months as you get older is not that long. But you have to be willing to do that. It might be even more difficult for somebody who's 50, has 50 years of this certain way that they are right now. So those 2 years are going to be way rougher on that person than somebody who's 20. So you gotta be able to take these moments and realize that all this change could happen massively within 12 months. But then the current version of you is 90% of some way. So to become the opposite of you, but with the current percentage of you, that's going to take 24 months. But you got to be willing to put that in. And so, what habits are you going for that are going to allow you to, in 24 months, by just maintaining those habits, be the version of you that you want to become in 24 months? You have plenty of time to get there. Or it's a pretty short amount of time to get there to be able to make a massive difference in the world. Because if you want to change the world, money is always going to help you. Being healthier is always going to help you. Being able to craft these better relationships is always going to help you. To be able to give somebody wealth, hey, like you need to borrow $200. Hey, don't even borrow this shit. Take it. It's for you. Thank you for holding me down. I appreciate you. All these aspects of life can be a significant change within 24 months. Because again, 90% of you is this way. Swing that pendulum around. Might be 30 years that took you to get this way, 40 years, 20 years, what have you. And you could swing that bitch in only 24 months. 12 months makes an 80% change. 24 months makes a 90% change. And then at that point, it's just pure maintenance. It's been pure maintenance after 12 months. And the maintenance is what gets you to 90, really. So now it's up to you and your choice to go out there in the world and become the you that you want to become. A moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory. And if you want to, like, you need help or whatever, any resource I have, really, I have plenty of PDFs to just like drop on you. No money. I just give that shit to you. If you want it, text me at 737-864-0824. Text me. Don't look at me. And that's from where I got this quote from, the movie Unbroken. If you haven't watched it, maybe you should watch it. It's pretty dope, but it is pretty tough at the same time if you're a softie. But anyways, that's been the video for today. And I'll see you guys on the next one tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Standard. Peace.